Hello, everybody, and welcome to another video vlog of Punta Cana Wellness. This time I have the pleasure and honor to finally meet Michael Tompkins from Hutchinson Consulting. Michael, you have more than 25 years as a leader in the luxury hospitality industry, healthcare and wellness. And according to what we exchanged a couple of months ago in the coming conference that COVID is postponing until next year, you are related, you are very into the senior living and the wellness to bridge that gap between wellness and healthcare in these communities. So welcome, Michael. I think I have introduced you a little bit, but be my guest and introduce yourself as well.
Sure. Like you said, my name is Michael Tompkins, and I'm from Hutchinson Consulting. And we're a recruitment firm here based in the United States that also does builds for hotels, wellness centers, and spas. So we consult and work as an owner's rep. And then we also market and brand those spas as well. So we pretty much cover everything from soup to nuts. My background actually began in long-term care. My first career was as a registered nurse. I was a registered nurse for almost 14 years in the hospital until I transferred into spa at Canyon Ranch in the Berkshires. And then I was in spa and wellness and for probably more than 2 decades, working at weight loss centers and destination spas. I was CEO of Miraval, and also, really explored the world of luxury hospitality and boutique hospitality, but always with a bend toward wellness. I think that once you're a nurse, you're always a nurse, and you carry the ethics code of serving all people. And that's one of the things that I like about hospitality and wellness and senior living and spa, is that I'm able to continue to do that.
That's beautiful. That's really beautiful. When I read about your biography, your bio, and what you have done, there's something that calls my attention, and it's when you say a bridge between healthcare and hospitality. So what is that? What is that gap is about? Like, what is that bridge that you guys build?
Well, with healthcare and hospitality, what we are seeing in the luxury segment market, as you've seen, are these wellness destinations that are popping up. And so you can go and you can live in a wellness community with people who share the same values as you, to live a lifestyle for personal improvement in a community that you resonate with. And what we've had typically here in the States, and I'm not sure if it's also in the Caribbean, but the nursing homes of old, where your grandmother or your grandfather used to go, is no longer desirable to seniors who are aging out. And that is, they don't want to be parked somewhere and forgotten about. They want to have the same luxuries that they have in life now, and pretty much they want to be able to be actively engaged adults. They want to live well through their entire life process. One of the things that there's a couple of things that drive that. The first thing is the millennial generation. We oftentimes are bashing the millennials when in fact they're probably one of the most healthiest generations that we've had. They, they've created bars that don't serve alcohol. They are all about fitness, and they're not going to forget it. They're about community and each other, and their friends are really tight. And one of the things that they really enjoy is spending time with their families. And they want their parents to live younger, longer, and to be healthy and be able to maintain a lifestyle by which they can they can also be engaged with their own families. And so they're encouraging their parents to also be healthy. Those parents are the baby boomers. The baby boomers are the largest generation currently on Earth, and they have the highest net wealth. And so the baby boomers' parents grew up during the Depression era, and they were called I believe it's called the Silver Generation. And the people who grew up in the 30s and the 40s who were the parents of the baby boomers, saved every penny that they had. They didn't spend it because they went through the Great Depression, and so they were keeping it for something that might come up that, in the future,
Yeah.
similar to a situation like what our world is going through now. And so they saved everything, and then they passed it on to their children, who were the baby boomers. And the baby boomers now have worked a lifetime, also accumulating wealth, and they have the largest expendable income ever by any generation that's available, to date. And so when I say they have the largest expendable income, that number has been pegged by economists anywhere between 15 trillion and 60 trillion dollars. Now,
Wow.
the difference between the baby boomer and their parents from the silver generation is that the baby boomers plan to spend every cent of it in their lifetime. And so they will spend the money to maintain their health, to maintain their active ability, their mobility, to be in these communities, and to live younger, longer in an intergenerational connected space. And that's where we're transitioning in the senior living sector. And that's really exciting for me, who's been in healthcare for 25 years in luxury hospitality, because I'm finally seeing medical and wellness blending with spa and all the other components in a living center that is community focused and is exactly what I think is the next utopia.
Well, sounds very interesting. I mean, we're talking about a community, a center where people can get preventive health services related to wellness, and at the same time visit their doctor to be able to keep on going with their treatments and whatever needs that they may have. I mean, it's a very, as I think it's a logical synergy. I mean, there's no, I always said, like, there's one thing that goes with another. We cannot, I deal with wellness practitioners all the time, and I let them know, look, it's not that you don't believe in the doctor. The doctor went to school. He knows something. He has knowledge from years and years and years of studies and also practice and all these kind of things. We cannot just say, oh no, just do this and just do that. For me, it's more about that synergy that you're talking about. And in a senior facility makes a lot of sense.
It does. And, you touched on the integration there, and I do want to expand a little bit on that because, we have been a society that is based on everything that you do through a physician when it refers to your health care. And when you look at preventative medicine, that's not necessarily the case. The physician may set the tone of what you need to do to maintain your health, but then there's an integrated team that helps you. Everything from a nutritionist, a registered dietitian, to an exercise physiologist, a fitness instructor, a personal trainer. It could be a physical therapist. It could be, ancillary programs that are Eastern-based philosophy, like acupuncture or massage or healing touch. And, the list goes on and on. But, what history has shown, at least from a medical background, is that when the integration of all of these different types of modalities actually happens in a space that's supported by the community, that their people thrive. And so, that is the preventative model that we've been talking about for 30 years, since I became a nurse, back in 1988, I think it was. We've all been searching for this as, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen? And now it's finally here. The thing that has further compounded it, I went to the Lake Nona forum about a year and a half ago. I think it wasn't this year's, it was the year before. And someone from Davos got up and they said, in 2022, the number of people requiring care will outpace the number of caregivers able to care for them.
Wow.
It would be the first time that people will not be able to see their physician because there's not going to be enough of them. And so what model then do we go to be able to provide care? And we're already seeing that here in the States in the rural areas.
Yeah, we
there are no physicians. So, we're working, on telemedicine, and, everybody's doing these telemedicine things now. And because that's the only way that you can see a doctor in some islands, for example, in Hawaii, That's the only way you can see a doctor is through a telemedicine portal. And so, I look at that as, okay, if there's a shortage of doctors, but there's these people who want to maintain health for a longer period of time and they're supported in a community model, well, the community is going to be the people who look after you. And that could be your family who is in that community, your friends who are in that community who have a similar lifestyle, or the integrated team that you're working with who know you intimately because they're living the lifestyle with you.
Yeah, that's very interesting. They're part of your games, they're part of your parties, they're part of your meetings, they're part of your daily activities. It makes such a big difference, and you make it more personal and much more personal and customized. Just a thing comes to my head when you mentioned the part of international, like for example, the Hawaii only seeing doctors by by the device mobile. What is your approach when it comes to international healthcare? Because I know that there is what the industry is called health tourism or wellness tourism. So at least wellness tourism makes a very big statement, like wellness tourism is not the same as health tourism. Even though internationally there's a lot of associations that mix them both. But what is then your approach and understanding if the two can be together, if the two really, one is one thing and the other one is the other? Or like, for example, I know I used to work with great friends in the Cayman Islands. The Health City Cayman Islands is one of the best projects in the Caribbean, and they have a lot of philanthropic work all over the world, and they're a great facility as well. One of the best cardiology cities for treatments and surgeries and open heart stuff. You can go there and you'll find the best of the best in the entire world. But they focus a lot on is health tourism instead of just wellness tourism. So when it comes, for example, your approach is let me put them together. What exactly what is your view on that?
Well, there's a couple of views on that from my perspective, and this is only my opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to break it down according to your place in society, sadly. So the uber elite have the ability to travel anywhere they need to for healthcare.
Yeah.
So it's very easy to jump on a plane and go to Dubai and get the best healthcare that you can get, or get on a plane and go to Costa Rica and get your dental care for significantly cheaper from probably some of the world's best dentists. And you can choose to go to your cardiologist or your cosmetic surgeon or whoever you want because it's available to you. The unfortunate thing is it's not available to you and I because we couldn't travel like that, and it wouldn't be available to people who are less fortunate than we are. And so, the model that I think that works not only for the middle class, but also the upper middle class as well, is this wellness-based community model. And I think it also has the potential of engaging those who are even less fortunate to live and work in that same society or that same community, and to be able to access the wellness healthcare, because that is really one of the great travesties of healthcare and wellness in our world, in that it depends on how much money you have. And that's a very sad thing. And so, people have been trying to figure out, well, how is it that everybody could have access to some type of wellness? And so that's why when you say health tourism or wellness tourism, I go to the wellness tourism because, my background as a nurse is I want to help more people. And, I don't want to just, it would behoove me from a business perspective to say I'm going to only work with the top 1% that's out there because they're the people who can pay, and I'll be able to do the best projects in the world. And yes, we have been blessed to work with that crowd. However, from a personal perspective, I want to work helping to create something that can help the masses. And that's a great executive wellness model and a community base. And that is what we're building right now. And I'm really excited because for the first time in 30 years, I think it has great promise.
Yeah, so do you have any those, can you share any examples? Have you built those communities already? Do you have, like, where are they? They're just here in the United States, or they're all over the world?
They're all over the world. I can give some examples of some that are all over the world, not that we've worked with. You have Serenbe, which is in the southern states here. GoCo Hospitality, which is all over the world, but also has a site here in the U.S. Tres Santos, that's in Baja, in Mexico. Those are all wellness-based communities that I'm aware of. I know that there are some that are being built in Austria now, and in Europe. And of course, Chiba Sam, I believe, is doing some in Asia as well. But the one that we're working on in particular is senior living based. And the first one that we're rolling out is in Birmingham, Alabama, in Huntsville, Alabama. And it's called WellPoint Communities.
Wow.
And basically what it is a wellness-based community center model where you can go to your physician in the same place where you can go to your pharmacy, go to your spa, go to your fitness center, have a healthy meal in the healthy cafe. You could even get married there in the restaurant that is also healthy. So it has like everything in the community center, and it not only serves the people who live there, but it serves the community at the whole on a membership level. So a local person can come in for a meal, they can come in to see a physician if they choose, they can come in and work out in the gym. Attached to that also is an innovation center for education, and then there's also a shared work space. So, sort of like a WeWork. And then in addition,
Wow.
hotel, it has some private townhomes, and all of that is accessible by the community. But the main piece of it is that it has a very large senior living center where seniors can come and live the lifestyle that we're talking about with this integrative model. But they don't have to be sectioned off to we're 55 and older, or this is the place where my grandparents are.
Actually, that was going to be my next question. Like, so for someone to get in, do I have to be 55 and older to be part of this community?
So for the senior living section, you would be, but they are apartments just like you and I would have. However, if you wanted to have your grandchildren come there and get an immunization at the health center, you can leave your apartment in the senior living center, walk over to the health center, work out with your child, and then wait while your grandchild gets their immunization, that they need. So it not only allows for that senior living component to be more interactive and engaged, but it creates the possibility of whole life living on a multi-generational approach.
Wow. It actually, that's what they keep saying all over in social media. If you want your mom to live longer, travel with her. If you want your parents to be with you, like, be more in touch with them. And now with this situation that we're having, I see more and more people actually reaching out to their elders, uncles, aunts, mom, dad, anybody, grandparents, anybody that they're taking care of in one way just by staying home. But now we're more aware of that portion of our society more than ever.
And I hate to bring up COVID, but we're in this situation now, right? And so what we're seeing in the States is that our seniors, in particular those who are in the homes that they're in, are isolated like we are in our homes, but they are isolated to only having staff there. So family members can't even go in and see them. They have to wave through a window. And of course, that's protective measures. And I applaud the people that are doing that and our healthcare workers who are taking care of them, because, we have to flatten that curve. But think about this model of whole life living where people are constantly looking out for each other, eating healthy, exercising, maintaining their fitness level, being engaged with the community, using their mind to be able to still stay active in some of the things that they've been inspired to do every day, and that is have a purpose. And so what I love about this WellPoint model is that the co-working space, the shared space, would be able to access the wisdom of the people who are in the senior living center to come help them maybe show how you get financing for a startup project, or how you create a brand or a brand book, historically how they did it when they ran their company. And so, it can keep them engaged in several different areas. The one thing about this to note, though, primarily, is if you look back to 2008, in the downturn of the economy, the Great Recession, there was the only industry that did not go down was senior living. It was the only industry that continued its growth path. And why is that? Because people are aging out. And of course, now we have baby boomers that are now more than ever the numbers that we have. And so the opportunity is prime for us to take the seniors from where they're currently housed, which is where nobody wants to be and nobody wants their parent to be, into a model where they're still engaged with the community, but on an integrative approach where somebody's looking after them simply on a community level, and they're getting the best health options that they can.
Yeah, it sounds promising, and it sounds actually accurate. Even within this new normal that we are trying to get adjusted to, I keep saying that, there's a very good aspect that we need to keep going is the growth as a community. I mean, even if we cannot touch, even if we have to keep social distancing. If we are in a community, like you said, that is actually actively healthy, and because it's a healthy lifestyle, most likely there's no curve, not even to flatten out.
Right. That's exactly it. And when you look at the models of healthcare, people, originally were saying, well, I don't want to put my parent there, and therefore I'm going to take them into my home. And so we have seen models that have gone back to multi-generations in the home. Certainly, I'm an example of that. I worked in the nursing homes of old, and I'm very proud of that and proud of the people that I worked with and the care that we gave our seniors at the time. But it's not a place where I would want my mom. And my mom is 80 years old, and I want my mother to have a good, happy life and be taken care of to the best of my ability. And so she's currently living with my brother and his wife, who are both nurses, and they live about a mile away from me. But wouldn't it be great if we could live in a community like we're talking about now, this wellness-based community? And some people would say, well, why hasn't senior living gone down if people are having more of their parents come live with them in the home, or they're living in their parents' home to help provide their care? And the reason is because of the sheer volume of numbers of people who are aging out. We have the oldest population that we've ever had on Earth, combined with the youngest population, the millennials, that we've ever had on Earth. And so, those two generations are going to change our world.
Yeah, I believe you are. I mean, the information that you're giving me, it's so nutritious for my mind, and to have great ideas. And I'm just like wondering about, like, oh my goodness, it would be so good to have this kind of communities. Yes, you're doing it in the United States, and then it's spreading it all over the world. I mean, it would be like having a retired life. And I can just imagine going like into a Caribbean island where I can actually visit my mom and and my uncles and my aunts, and all of them having a healthy lifestyle with a nice weather, great structures, like completely doing it like what you're describing me. I'm like, where do I sign? Like, where do I see the brochure to send it to my mom so she can see this thing? And where do we sign? Seriously.
Well, when I think about, the Caribbean, and I have been to the Caribbean a lot. And by the way, I have been to Punta Cana more than any other place in the world. I love
Oh,
Punta
thank
Cana.
you.
I've also been to the Dominican. I've been to Dominica. So I've been to Casa de Campo. They were an account of ours for a long time. And so, I know that area. And when I think about where I would like to retire to, I would love to retire to a wellness community in the Caribbean. There is no doubt in my mind. I think that the Caribbean is perfectly situated. It will probably come in places like the Caymans and St. Thomas first, maybe. But I would love it to be everywhere. I see the all-inclusive or semi-inclusive resorts that are in the Punta Cana and the Dominica area, and I really think that they are also primed to create these living communities where people will want to retire to and have their families come and spend time with them. My goal, though, is to not only have that from a wealthy perspective, but also be able to provide that to, anybody who seeks it. That's the
Yeah, I mean,
key, is
well,
how
look,
is it delivered?
yeah, just like to put an example, most of those hotels in the Punta Cana area and also all in the Caribbean, all the Caribbean islands right now, they're shut down. They're
Hmm.
basically closed, shut down. And we all know that. If I got just to my head just now an idea, like if there were those hotels had a section of their facilities dedicated to have an in-living community, like you're saying, of, let's say, senior citizens that are just like, you know what, I'm going to pay you a monthly fee, or I'm going to have a yearly fee, and I'm going to have all these services available for me to be living here. I'm sure that they were still open.
Yeah.
They actually will be sheltering in place in there in one of the most beautiful areas of the world with nice blue beaches and great weather.
Well, I think you're exactly right, and I think that part of it is how do we deliver it. And one of the projects that we worked on here in St. Louis called Palm Health, which means Personal Advanced Lifestyle Medicine, is a community center. But in that community center, they have physicians, they have physical therapists, they have nutritionists, behavioral therapists, exercise physiologists, nurses. There's also a gym, there's a healthy cafe, a yoga center. They have a cryotherapy, infrared saunas, salt rooms, IV infusion rooms that's accessible to anybody on a membership basis. And it drives the community to use that as the one source for healthcare. And it also creates the community of, I see people there having, business meetings for lunch. And if we can start with community centers that then expand into living communities, I think that's the way that we get everybody in society, and in exactly the way that you said. On a personal note, when I think about mindfulness and the Caribbean, about 2 years ago in April, my family all went to the Dominican for a family vacation. And we took a boat across to an island that was, it was non-commercial. It was just an island with nothing on it. And we all got out into the water, and we were like treading water in about 10 feet of water, and you could see clear to the bottom. And we got surrounded by, when I say thousands, I mean thousands of angelfish that were as large as my hand.
Yeah.
They were all around me, and they were around my 2-year-old nephew, and they were around my sister-in-law, and all of us were like in awe. And it will be a moment that I will remember forever. And I think that the Caribbean offers those mindful moments if people can see them. So that, imagine if they're not just special to, tourists, but they become special to the citizens who move there to these communities, and the citizens like you who are living there now.
Yeah, exactly. It's I know. Thank you for that beautiful memory to share it with us. It was beautiful, beautiful from you. Thank you so much. I'm just picturing it because I've been there, and I'm like, oh yeah, I know. I really know. I know. The feeling is incredible. The feeling is superb. Thank you so much for sharing that beautiful moment. Michael, it's what we're talking about is an idea. It's a beautiful concept. It's a concept that I think that it can go, you guys are putting the time, the effort, and the work to make it a reality. But now with this, and I'm tragically to say, but it's what we're living. Now we have someone in the middle that may change how you guys are going to put that together. So we're talking about COVID-19. What are your thoughts from the Hutchinson Consulting perspective? What you guys think, because of wellness, a physician, a chiropractor, a acupuncture is a very personal treatment. It's massage, it's like on top of you. Honestly, I cannot imagine a massage with gloves. I'm like, no, that won't be feeling. That will not be a feeling. That will be like, I don't know even what to call it. Maybe, So I'm just curious, from you guys' perspective, what if you can share, of course, if you use ideas just from the top of your head that you guys are thinking that will be a new approach to, and I've been saying this probably since the moment that all this thing came in. It's like, from now we have to start thinking about how we create confidence. Like, how can I trust to go into these community centers? How can I trust to go back to my massage therapist or my hairdresser or my nutritionist? Of course, as a nutritionist, I can see it through some videos, but it's not the same. I mean, the human interaction, the one-to-one human interaction, we all need that. So in coming back, flatten the curve, getting back to a new normal, as the authorities are calling it, what do you guys think about for the industry specifically?
I don't want to speculate, so I'll try to say my thoughts based on historical. And that is, we have been suffering in the spa world with a shortage of massage therapists for a very long time, since 2008.
Wow.
The primary reason is when the downturn of the economy happened, people exited our industry to get employment, which then became their first job, and their second job was massage. So we lost a great deal of people there that we still have not recovered from. The second part of it is that the on-demand services came. So people could book a massage therapist via an app, and they could go directly, the massage therapist could go directly from their house to your house, and they cut out the place of employment in that process, and therefore increase the shortage that much more. We're short of physicians. That conference that I went to, clearly said we do not have enough physicians to provide care for the people needing it. And so that's going to be something that continues into the future. With COVID-19, I think we will see another exodus of massage therapists, which will make it very difficult for us to do the work that we do in wellness-based models. Then, of course, you have the fear of touch. And so when you say, will people come back? Yes, they will. And they will, because humans don't live in fear. Some people get stuck living in fear, but most of us don't, and at some point become comfortable enough to venture out. And that's what living is all about. The other piece of it is that when I was a nurse, I had a state board question that why does a baby die of failure to thrive? And I actually thought it was because of oxygen, lack of food, but actually a baby dies from failure to thrive because of lack of touch. And so they need to be touched, they need to be held. The touch is what keeps their breathing going, all of those things. And so that is an innate human aspect that we all carry, and we will never be able to do without that. It is a sense that we have to have. And so what I think is that we need to create policies and procedures and protocols to make people come back to us quicker. And that is, how do we clean our facilities? What is the personal hygiene and the personal protective gear that we have to start out with when, the non-essential businesses are reopened? What is the process by which we stop wearing gloves and masks and go back to less than, but then maybe if you have a cough or your guest has a cough, they're required to wear a mask. I can see that. But, I don't think that people are going to come back if everybody's gowned up, face
Yeah,
masks,
yeah.
gloves. It's just not the wellness world that we're all about. It's not the
No.
world that we live in. And so, I do think that we will be resilient and people will come back to us. I just think it's going to be different. And it's hard to say different, but I will give 2 or 3 examples that I think of that I believe will do very well. The first is non-labor-based revenue stream sources of wellness. And so the salt rooms that we've seen coming out lately, it's great for your skin, great for your respiratory tract. I mean, right now, if I, had a cold or a sinus or something very serious, I would want to be in a salt room because that's the thing that's going to help heal you. Not only that, but salt is antimicrobial. We've seen us go from spa stones to now salt stones. And the reason for that is the cleanliness factor is that it doesn't spread germs. So I think the salt world will take off like gangbusters. The second thing is, with COVID in particular, and any really microorganism that, is resistant to antibiotics, the only thing that you can use to kill it is an alcohol-based solution of 60% or more, right? So that's all these hand sanitizers. So if you're using bleach solutions to clean your counters, to wipe down your door handles, to wipe off your car handles, to disinfect your car, to clean your house, and then you're putting the hand sanitizer on top of it, think of what you're doing to the natural flora of your skin. You're killing it. You're killing your natural microbiome. And so even if it's on your hands, you go, oh, well, I'm not going to put that on my face. Well, how do you think COVID is spread? It's spread from hands to the face and in the mouth. And why are people wearing these? And it's spread from a lot of other reasons, but that was one of the main reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And so I look at, okay, so you're putting your hands on your face and spreading the germs. Well, you're putting your hands on your face and touching it with sanitizer or touching it with bleach. And all you're doing is drying out your skin and killing your natural microbiome.
Yeah.
So when I was coming to your wellness conference, I was actually sponsored by a company called LaFleur Probiotic Skincare.
Yeah.
And, just about every skincare line out there has a probiotic formulation now. I happen to have been involved with LaFleur for a while now. And so I know that if I'm having sanitizer on my hands or bleach on my hands, and then I'm touching my face, I'm killing my natural flora. So using those probiotics on my skin, which is our first level of defense, is really, really important. And then the third thing that I would say will be different is fitness. If you go online right now, you will not be able to find a fitness product available anywhere to be sent to your home. All the weights are sold out. All the mats are sold out. Everything's sold out because the gym's closed and people still want to exercise.
Yeah.
And so they're going out and they're getting all of these products and bringing them into their home. And oh, by the way, even with social distancing in my park, which is 6 blocks from here, there are people doing fitness privates with their fitness instructor. They're maintaining that 6-foot distance, but they're still doing their fitness private, but they're no longer doing it in the gym. And so when all of this comes back, will the fitness instructor and will the exerciser go back to the gym and spend that money? Yes, I think some of them really will because they'll want that sense of community. But I think a lot of them won't. And so I'm hoping that we can find new ways of delivering services in wellness that are telebased, like this webinar is, where we're sharing education and sharing knowledge, and that we do the same thing with wellness services. And perhaps, as Sorabal, we were talking about 20 minutes ago, maybe that's the way that we get wellness to everybody, by providing free webinars to people of any social system caste, any bit of wealth or not. If you have access to the internet, you have access to wellness. That would be really cool.
That will be really cool. That will be really cool. Michael, thank you so much. I mean, you not only are very knowledgeable, I'm feeling right now that I want to open your scalp and start digging more into your into your brain, because it's very, all the tips and recommendations or your ideas from your perspective are being very helpful. Have opened my eyes to a different perspective, which I think everyone right now is looking for that. Everyone is like searching for how do I do this? How I'm gonna move forward? And like you said, like it's a matter of like maybe somebody will or maybe they don't. And then for those that will, we already have we can put new protocols and cleaning and all the stuff. And for all those don't, then let's be creative and create other stuff that can be done. And I truly feel encouraged by you saying that, you know, that humans don't live in fear. I love it. I really do. Thank you for that. It's very encouraging. It's true. We are a resilient race in the world, in the planet, that we don't live by fear. If we'll stay in fear, we'll be in the caves still and not inventing fire or any of the things that we have done through all these years. Michael, thank you again for taking your time. Thank you for all those encouraging words. This will be alive in our YouTube channel. This will be alive in our blog series. I say thank you to all of you guys that are watching this interview. If you want, the blog is going to have some written parts of this interview, and you can contact Michael at Hutchinson Consulting if you have any more questions. I'm open. I hope that you're open to any more questions, and people that in business will like to reach out to you guys to have the guidance and the expertise that your services provide. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
I want to thank you, Sorabel, for inviting me to be on. I also want to thank Punta Cana Wellness, and anybody who's listening can always reach me personally at michael@hutchinsonconsulting.com. And most of all, I want to thank the people of the Caribbean. I wish you good health and wellness in this very difficult time, and know that we're all thinking about you here. So blessings to you all. Thank you.
Thank